Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful, beautiful people on this grand and beautiful Sunday morning. I'm coming to you live. I am the butterfly. I'm going to still brush it off this morning. I'm going to do it another time because, hey, I am sticking with this. This is day 67, you guys. I've been going strong. I'm thankful to my son and my nephew who has been helping me hold it down, but they are both fathers, husbands. They got so much going on. So I'm just thankful. And they will be back. They will pop in and out for sure. But I'm going to keep on rocking with this. So if you're out there and you're rocking with me, and especially if you've been rocking with us for quite a while, for many of these days, hey, say hello, brush it off for yourself as well. Brush it off for yourself. So I have an exciting I'm excited about this one. And somebody, if you've been listening, you should know why. Tell me why. What does this word, two words mean that's in our topic for today? Learn how to say I can. If you've been rocking, you know that this is very dear to me because of something. I'll give you a clue about my grandmother. Something about my grandmother. So I'm going to get right into it, and you guys bear with me today because, again, I'm doing it all and doing the show as well. So let me switch over here and get some things ready for us to go. I'm going to get the topic out there, and I'm going to go ahead and put our affirmation for the day out here as well. And I see somebody's already in the comment. I kind of knew it was Miss Brenda. Miss Brenda, Miss Brenda. We got to get together because I want to hear your story of glory of how this has and is blessing you. I received another kudos yesterday, and you guys, I mean, I need them because it helps me to keep going. I'm doing this for myself as well because we are never really there until we take our last breath. I believe that. Like where my nephew says, the graveyard is one of the richest places in the world. I am adamant that I will not make it richer. I'm adamant about that, right? My richness will be here, and when I'm at that place, I want to be like the father in the day that we said, what color is your parachute? I want to be able to say, I'll go, you stay, because I've lived a rich life. I've lived a rich life, and I want to say I'm almost negative now, right? Like my count is almost empty. So you go, son. You go, daughter. You go, friend. You go, stranger. I'm good. I've lived a rich life. I'm adamant. I'll say that is my desire. I'm adamant. God willing, I will make that so. So good morning, Brenda, and to whomever else is listening out there. I'm going to read a portion of the book because my book, y'all, is so whatever. And I can't seem to put my hand on my word. I've typed it out for myself, but I tell you what, let's do this. Let's get as much of the back of the book out as we can. So we're reading Daily Motivations for African American Success. It was written by Dennis Kimbro, who's also the author of the best-selling book, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. So that's for the people in the back, not just the people, but the black folks, as my nephew would say. For the black folk that's still in the back of the bus and think that you have to be there, right? You're free. You can come up. You can come up to the front, right? You can come to the barbecue. Bring a plate. Bring a plate. Be prepared to take one home, right? Take two home, but bring a plate with you. Bring something. Bring a side dish with you. What is your side dish? What can you bring to the barbecue? What can you bring to the table? So Dennis Kimbro, again, is also the author of Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. But daily motivations for African American success will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead you to the achievement of your true goals. In 365 short but powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro, author of the popular Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become, this is my one of my favorite parts, become wise to know when to say yes, but also, y'all, when to say no. Because you just got to say no sometimes to some people, right? You just got to say no. And if not to some people, for you. So that is one of my favorite parts. It, and also when to say no, and to when to look inward for answers to life challenges. When to look inward. So often we're looking outward. We're looking for people to make things right for us. We're looking for people to say, I'm sorry. We're looking for people to guide us, to tell us which way to go when we don't know. As we talk about that, it makes me think about the man who was lost. He knew where he was. And the man that he asked said, well, do you know where you're going? He said, yes. And so the man said, well, you're not lost. You just need direction. And much of that direction comes from inside of you. If you would just tap into yourself, there's that song again blinding me, y'all. If you'll just tap into yourself, you will know how to deal with life's challenges. Because you guys, life is going to happen to us, period. There's no one on this side of the dirt that life does not happen to you. I don't care. You could be the preacher, president of this United States, and a preacher, and anything else that you want to add into there that makes you think people are up there. Life happens to them, and it's going to happen to us, to you, to me. And it does happen to me. Let me just tell you that it does happen to me. Um, so I'm also going to read this part. If there is any power that can reverse the fortunes of race, it is character, writes Dennis Kimbro. Every thought which enters our mind, every word we utter, every deed we perform makes its impression on the innermost fiber of our being. I'll read that one again before we end. So let's jump into this. Um, so our title for today is Learn How to Say I Can. Learn, which was a powerful word from one of the ones that we did a few days ago, but we ended up on learn. So learn how to say I can. And our quote, I know I'm going to make it in spite of my handicap. I will not be a prisoner of the chair. I know what I can do. Before I read that again, let me say it comes from Teddy Pendergrass, one of my favorite singers, y'all. Teddy Pendergrass. I know I'm going to make it in spite of, keep that in your mind, my handicap. I will not be a prisoner of the chair. I know what I can do. And again, that's by Teddy P. So let's look at our reading. I can, wrote the historian Charles Wesley, who dared to tell the world that the black man had a history of note. I can, whispered Olympian Wyomia Tyus, who became the first person to capture gold medals in the 100-meter race in 2 consecutive Olympic Games. I can, thought Jewel Plummer Cobb, who has destined to make a name for herself in science and in education. I can, shouted Jack Johnson, who dreamed of being the first black man to wear the belt of world's heavyweight champion. No one has ever received, gained, or accomplished anything in life without saying the 2 powerful words, I can. The statement I can is not future promise, but an affirmation of what we choose to create now. Let me read that one again. I can is not future promise, but an affirmation of what we choose to create now. This principle spells the difference between the person who is the master of his fate, and one who sees himself as a victim of uncontrollable forces. Let's read that one again. This principle spells the difference between the person who is the master of his fate and one who sees himself as a victim of uncontrollable forces. As I learn more about success and achievement, it often concurs to me that you and I are living far beneath our power as persons and our possibilities as inhabitants of this great planet. Not enough of us say, I can. We can be at least 10 times more powerful, at least 10 times more bountiful and wonderful, at least 10 times happier and freer and stronger than we are. We can be 10 times more active. I'm going to read that one again. We can be 10 times more active, more alive, more spiritual, more faithful, more godlike than we are. Studies have revealed that we use less than 10% of our mental capacity. Studies have shown that we use less than 10%, y'all listen at that, 10% of our mental capacity. I'm going to go to the heart as well. And likewise, we use less than 10% of our creative capacity. The only way to gain this unlimited happiness and potential is to learn. The only way to gain this unlimited happiness and potential is to learn how to say, I can. And the affirmation for today, I believe in the two simple words, I can. All right, let's do the unpacking of this, you guys. Let's do it. So, I'm going to throw a question out there right off the bat. In spite of, because Teddy says, I know I'm going to make it in spite of my handicap. What's your handicap? Because it might not be the chair. It may not be the chair, but we all have one. What's your handicap? And are you determined? And he ends with this. I will not be a prisoner of the chair. Why? Because I know what I can do. I know my potential. I know what I'm capable of. I know who created me. And he didn't just create me, he created me for purpose. So I know I'm going to make it. Do you know that you're going to make it? Make it where? Where are you going to make it to? And what's the direction? Because as I said earlier, we're not lost because we know that we know that we know where we are. Maybe not all of us know where we're going because we don't know where we want to go and we don't know who we are. So that means we don't even know how to pack for where we're going. We don't know how to unpack that suitcase that we have packed with all of the stuff, right? So some of us know where we are. Some of us know where we're going. Perhaps we just need a little assistance, some directions on how to get there. And if you tell me where you are, if you call me and say, Tammy, I need to talk. Tell me I'm lost. Okay. And not necessarily driving wise. I know, I'm going to say, where are you? Okay. This is what's going on in my life. This is what's happening. Da, 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 da. And if I ask you, okay, what do you want? Where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself through this process? Because most times we already know the answer. But do you know you can? Do you know you can manifest that answer? Because we can. Because we manifest the negative. We stay stuck like Chuck, right? They say in the negative parts of our lives. We hold on to those. So if we can choose to hold on and it's a choice, you guys, I'm telling you, it is a choice. No matter where you are and how you feel today, it is a choice. And that's what we mean by you have to take responsibility and accountability for where you are. and who you are. Forget about why, because most times it's not our fault. Most times it's not. As I was looking up the word of affirmation here, wasn't looking for it, and I'm never downing on parents, you guys, but I am a parent, and boy, I wish I had this awareness of self when I was mothering. I didn't have it, but what I had was love enough. There's a word, love enough to think that I could pour something into him, my son, that I didn't have in myself. Because what he really saw was, um, and even felt was a unaware mother, right? Who's trying to teach something that she doesn't even know about. I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all. It was. Did I do bad? Absolutely not. But that's because I had sense enough to pray. But looking back, there's so many things I would have did different. And one of them was make sure that I was okay first. I would have made sure that I am aware that I loved myself and that he saw me loving myself rather than seeing me allow people loving people more, if that is something you can do, and I think not. So he saw this distorted process of love and what it meant to really love yourself and take care of yourself. um, so he repeated some of the things I did, meaning taking care of people first to his demise, trying to make sure everybody else is okay. And I remember one of his college roommates telling my dad at the graduation, at Brandon's college graduation, said Brandon cares so much about people that is to his demise, right? He tries to help people, and that he saw his mama do that. He saw his mama put herself last in almost everything, right? So I brought that up because as I was reading about affirmation, it talked about, let me see, can I pull this up? And I found it to be really interesting. Let's see. Um, how how we get to this place of where we are because we feel, I'm going to say that we feel that we've not been affirmed by our parents, right? And y'all go look this up because I'm going to do it for myself. And nothing, not shooting shade at parents. I'm going to carry my own weight on that one, right? And tell you that I did not affirm Brandon properly. I did not affirm. I couldn't because I had not affirmed myself. I was looking for that affirmation outside. I did not know what I could do. As Teddy Pendergrass said, I know what I could do. I was in my chair. I was in the chair. Not handicapped in the same way of Teddy, but I was handicapped, right? I was handicapped. So it says there are 5 common ways parents fail to affirm their children. There are 5 common ways parents fail to affirm their children, and that just means validate. And we know. If you don't know why it's like this, I don't know. Go to God about this. Um, but there are. Let's think about adopt kids who are adopted. They can have the most loving, richest, I'm talking about money, get anything they want, parents, um but they still have a longing for their biological parents, right? They still have a longing for them. They still have a need to be validated, to know that you had me, you loved me, you love me, I hope, but I need to know. And some things, y'all, even things like this, we just have to put it down. Like, okay, I may not have been the best mom to Brandon, but I'm gonna tell you what I did. I showed up. I showed up. And now I'm cool with that because it's on him now. It's on him. I've said, I'm sorry. I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have did this a little better. Said this. I wished I'd loved myself because there came a day where Brandon said to me, and I asked the question, what could I have did better? He said, Mom, I would have loved if you had just tried to be mom and not mom and dad. Not mom and dad. right? And I knew that. I knew that I could not be a father to Brandon. So that's another show, but I'll get off of that because again, when I got to the affirmation part, and in the quote or in the reading, it says, "I can" is not future promise, but an affirmation of what we choose to create now. An affirmation of what we choose to create in the now, right now, because it is a choice. So affirmation just means that to be affirmed, to be told or shown that you matter, that you are valued. And let me say this, there's many times where parents are showing you that in the way that they can. And as a child, we may not see that. But this is why I come back to the part where adults, it's on you to not be a prisoner to your chair or of your chair. That's on you. So, whatever chair you came from, whatever the reason you're sitting in that chair, that's on you, boo. Not your mama, not your daddy, not your grandma, not your circumstances, not that you don't have a job, not anything, not that you're divorced, not that you've never been married. All that's on you. All that's on you. That is nobody's chair. That's the chair you are choosing to sit in and stay in if that's what you're doing. So the I can, my grandmother, and I've talked about this, my grandmother, as a little girl, my grandmother told me when I said I can't, and our kids will say this often. Our kids say this, and with my grandchildren, I say, no, 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 you can. We can figure out a way that you can do this. So my grandmother told me, no, when I said that word, no, I can't does not live in this world, in this house. It does not exist. She went on to say it is not even in a dictionary for you. You can do anything. So I was told that as a little girl. As a little girl, little Will mentioned that he asked, I guess, a supervisor, how did you have four kids? I believe it was four kids that turned out, with such worth ethics. And the father, his supervisor, said, I was intentional. I was intentional about the characteristics, the things that I wanted to instill in my children. Now, it is likely if we talk to him, he's probably going to say, it was instilled in me, or I took it upon myself to make sure that I had that. And I can see that because I'm going to tell you something that was instilled in me is work ethics. I will work for it. And I'm going to say this. If I worked for myself like I work for the companies that I've worked for, I probably wouldn't even need to work for them. And I'm working on that. I'm working on making sure that I give my business more than I give someone else's business. So see, I'm continuing to learn, you guys. Please never think because I'm sitting here on this side of the platform that I don't need what I'm telling you, that I don't have to um, be intentional about my actions, my words, my deeds, the love that I have for myself and for others. Every day I have to question some things I think that I do, that I utter, right? I have to think about them. But guess what? I've learned not to take them on because I know I can. I know I will. I know I can because he has. I know I will because he did. And some more things. So I can tell you this, I am not in my chair. I am no longer a prisoner of the chair that I put myself in. Oh, woe, it's Tammy. Why not this? I remember telling someone that I was I was outside mowing my lawn one day. And this has been some years ago, and I'm all in my head. I'm pushing my lawnmower, and I'm just like all in my head about I don't have a man that does this for me. I don't have anybody in my life. Da 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 da. I shouldn't be out here mowing this lawn. Why? It's my house, it's my lawn. It needs to be mowed. Why? Why did I put myself in the chair in that moment? But I grew out of it. If I mow the lawn, I'm exercising. I'm getting some sunlight. I got a house. I got a house with grass. I got a lawnmower. Some people have houses and they have to go borrow a lawnmower, right? There's so many things that I could have counted my blessings in that moment. I learned how to deal. I learned how to handle things. I learned how to change or take those thoughts captive. Take them captive. Get them. Oh, no, I'm going to California. This is not the way to California. Phew. Take another thought. Hey, oh no, this one's for me. I'm going to keep it. We're going to do this one. Right? So you make the choice. Learn how to say, I can. Learn, period. Learn. Know about who you are, right? So you'll know if you in the chair. And sometimes we're not in the chair, but we get in the chair. Like I did on that day mowing my yard. And other times where I get in my feelings about things, about how they should be, how they should be. And we must always know that just how we have this perception of things and how they should be based on where we came from, our life experiences, and how we process them, then someone else has those same things about that same thing that you've processed. Right? Because we can all make a pound cake, but some of us may have a different ingredients in it. Still a pound cake. Your version of the pound cake, right? So when and I actually heard one of the pastors in the journaling through the scripture class, which is going to be coming back hopefully soon here, you guys. So if anybody wants to go on some Thursday nights, please let me know. But I heard the pastor say, when we are in disagreement with people, or we feel that their way is not the right way, ask yourself, what are you comparing it to? Because if you see it wrong or right, you have some perception of something before being able to determine the wrong or the right, if it's wrong or right, and why. And just know that someone else has a different perspective. Number one, because they're not you. Number two, their life has not been your life. The way that they learned, the way that they were taught was not the same. So rather than rather than being offended or trying to always be right, listen to their story. Try to understand how they came to the point of their own understanding in that situation. That's building bridges. That's coming together. Because if God wanted us all to think the same, He wouldn't have made us so different. I truly believe that. And part of this difference is to help us determine, like yesterday's reading said, I'm not just my brother's keeper, I'm my brother's brother. I'm not just my sister's keeper, I'm my sister's sister. I need her. She is me. I am her. So I'm no longer offended by the lady, the woman that I see, and she has some of the things that I'm still trying to acquire. I want to meet her now. I want her phone number now. I want to go out and have lunch with her now. I'm not offended. Why? Because I've learned that she is my sister. And God allowed her to get that thing maybe so that He can help me get to that place as well. So if you stay offended by it or allow you to feel defeated by it, you will never learn to say, I can. And I know what I can do. So my sister, help me in this area, right? So it's 7:29, and what I'm going to do is start to bring it to a close. I'm going to put some focus on our quote again for today. I know I'm going to make it in spite of my handicap. What's your handicap? I will not be a prisoner of the chair. What are you a prisoner of? What has you in the chair? I know what I can do. Do you know what you can do? Do you really know? And do you trust? Do you have faith? Do you have the hope? And as we mentioned yesterday, love, was it yesterday? Love is greater than, some say that love is greater than faith and hope. It's my first time really letting that simmer. And I believe that. I believe that if you don't love yourself, if you first don't think that I can, if you're not looking towards the cathedral, as the bricklayer said, one of them said, "Oh no." One said, I'm laying bricks." The other, "I'm building a cathedral. I'm building here," right? What are you building daily? Do you have character? Are you taking your thoughts captive? Because these are all the things you have to learn in order to know, not think you can, but know you can. Remember the little was, "I think I can, I think I can." Remember that? I don't remember the name of the story, but it just came to mind. Um, so I'm going to read some comments before I bring it to close. Thank you all for rocking with me. I want to give a big shout out to my YouTube listeners as well. I have a few people that listen strictly from YouTube, and I got to figure out a way to, I need some help with that, you guys. If somebody can help me, I'm telling you, there's so many things that I'm stubborn about. Like, I don't want to learn it. I don't want to learn it, but I do need to, on how to see my comments from the YouTube while I'm doing this live. Um, so Brenda says, good morning to everyone. And she says, you have to believe that you can. Your belief system can prevent you from moving forward. Amen to that. I'm going to read it again. I'm going to put it out here. How about that? So you guys can see it. You have to believe that you can. Your belief system can prevent you from moving forward. That's a snap, y'all. That's a snap. I can't say enough. I can't give enough thanks to people like you, Brenda, who you've shown up. I mean, and I'm so thankful, um, because I am my sister's keeper, right? I am my sister's keeper. And my sister, keeper, Tammy, I am you, right? And ladies, that's what we need. We need a foundation of a group of women who believe that, who's going to be honest with us, in love, who's going to help us get out the chair, right? Help us get out of the chair. So as we bring it to a close, I'm going to pinpoint a few things here. Our topic for today: learn how to say I can. Quote from Teddy P: I know I'm going to make it. I know I'm going to make it. I know I'm going to make it in spite of my handicap. What's your handicap, people? I will not be a prisoner of the chair. I know what I can do. Again, by Teddy P. No one has ever received, gained, or accomplished anything in life without saying the two powerful words, I can. The statement I can is not future promise. It's not future promise, but an affirmation of what we choose to create now. We're validating. You are validating what you are choosing to create now by the way you think, your actions, right? As the book says, every thought which enters our mind, every word we utter, so everything you say, right? Every deed we perform, everything you do makes its impression on the innermost fiber of your being. And this is more important about the thoughts that you don't share, the words that you don't share, that you speak into yourself, right? The deeds that you know you perform, um, the deeds that you say yes to when you should say no to, the deeds that you perform to gain the validation from the world and from people, right? So these things makes its impression on the innermost fiber of your being. So they root deeply. They will leave you thinking that I can't instead of I can. So, um, I can is not future promise, but affirmation of what we choose to create now. This principle spells the difference between the person who is the master of his fate and one who sees himself as a victim of uncontrollable forces. I'm going to stop it right there, but I'm going to say it again. This principle spells the difference between the person who is the master of his fate. Are you the master of your fate? And some of you, I'm going to say this because some of you will say, no, God is. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. And he's in you for a reason. And it says, be you transformed by the renewing of your mind so that you can what? So that you can what? And I'm gonna ask y'all to finish it for yourself. I'm not gonna even tell you what it is. Go look it up. Because we'll say, be you transformed by the renewing of your mind and leave it there, period. There's a reason, there's a reason, there's a reason. And that reason makes it possible for you to be the master of your fate. And remember, we're talking about taking control of you, yourself, your success, your internal success. Because once we master that, it's on and popping. Because we have people that have made it according to the world, but they're still searching. Those and searching for that person inside, right? Searching for some balance, for an equalizer, which was what we talked about yesterday. But when you find that, and then you find the success, the riches, the money, whatever, you are content. You are fulfilled. So that's why we're seeing what the world, people who are successful according to the world, unfulfilled. That's why you see couples, married people who are married, living under the same house, but lonely, still searching. That's why divorce is so high, because people are unfulfilled going into the marriages, thinking that the other person is going to fulfill them. That I have my husband. I hear women say my husband, and just as far away from being married as any, I can't even describe it. But meaning the healthy relationship, y'all, the healthy relation, fulfilled, right? So this principle spells the difference between the person who is the master of his fate and the one who sees himself as a victim of uncontrollable forces. Are you, or do you see yourself as a victim? Don't need the reason behind it, the other words, don't need it. Do you see yourself as a victim? Because if you do, and you know if you do, you're in the chair. You're in the chair. And don't ever think that someone else needs to validate you. Not your mom, not your dad, not your grandma, not your husband, not your wife, not your girlfriend, not your boyfriend, not your children. Never feel that you need to be validated by someone else, because you were spiritually, purposefully made by someone, by a God that sits so high and that is waiting for you to know that you can, because he did. He did. You can because he did already, right? So as I close, and I'm going to let me check the comments before I do that or do this. Brenda says, I am my sister. There you go. I am my sister. So the affirmation for today, and I'm going to read it 3 times. One for myself, one for you, and then one for the people in the back. And I might just read it for people that are coming. How about that, right? With that plate, that side dish. I got the meat. I got all the meat. Got all the meat. Y'all just bring the side dishes, right? I need help. I believe in the 2 simple words, I can. I believe in the two simple words, I can. And one more time for the people in the back, and as my nephew has added to this, not just the people, but the Black folks in the back, I believe in the two simple words, I can. You guys, get you a little sticky note and kind of just get a pack of sticky notes and just write it down. I can. Just put them all over the house. If nowhere else, especially your bathroom mirror, I can. Put it in your pocket. I can. I can. And why? Because I know what I can do. Why do I know what I can do? Because I was created to do it. All right. Thank you guys for rocking with me. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place. If you have not gotten the book, please do so. I'm going to do something I haven't did here. Tomorrow's topic is go ahead and work it. Let's get busy. So go ahead and work it. Let's get busy. Y'all think about that. And if you don't have the book, tell me what you think, where you think this will take us tomorrow. You can just drop the comments as soon as we come live or I come live. Go ahead and work it. Let's get busy is tomorrow's topic. So thank you for rocking with me. Y'all be great. Love on yourself and know that you can. Be great, great people. Peace.